welcome to the show, Rusty. How are you doing? You look very glad.
Very well, thank you. Lovely weather, can't complain. Nice bank holiday. Had a lovely bank holiday with friends, so I'm very happy to see people again. Isn't it amazing?
I know. It really is. And we've got the lovely Anna running. Anna, how are you doing?
I'm fine. It's lovely to see you and to see you, Rusty, both of you.
Thank
Looking
you,
so happy and well.
Yes.
Sunshine makes you happy, doesn't it? And it makes everyone else happy. Even the dog's happy. She's like really happy. So today we've got two lovely guests. We've got a guy called Johnny, and I'm gonna have to make sure I say it right. Seifert. He works for Times Radio, Talk Radio. He's literally probably interviewed so many celebrities. So we're going to find out lots of gossip from him. And we've also got a lady called Sally Windsor. She runs a talent agency. She does PR. She's a tabloid journalist, and we're going to find out all some juicy gossip today. So, I know we love a bit of gossip, us girls, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
Yes.
I'm just going to let Johnny in. Hopefully, you know me, my technology. Hopefully, I've done.
Oh, hello, Johnny.
And Johnny, you've known for like interviewed loads and loads of celebrities, and you've got like a celebrity podcast and mental health. So tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, so it's called Secure the Insecure. I set it up nearly 2 years ago. It's nearly on episode 100.
Wow.
And it's interviewing 100 celebrities, all about mental health, all about their careers, people that I've loved listening to, and just opening up those conversations that we're not having. I think a lot of the time we're starting to get into that mindset of everyone's got depression, everyone's got anxiety. And so what you do is you strip it back like an onion and go, okay, where did that trigger come from? Why are you the way you are? Because until you know how the way someone is, you don't know how they tick and how they took. And so I launched a podcast because at the time I couldn't get a mortgage. I'm a freelancer. And I just hit that rock bottom of I don't know what to do with my life now. I work in the celebrity area. I've interviewed loads of celebs, but I'm giving them to other people. I need to do something for me so that I know my own capital, because you know how much you get paid and you go, oh, look, that's money, but that doesn't equal happiness. And so when I go, I've done this, look at the news line I've got, look how I've made this person cry, look how I've made that connection. I thought, okay, I can do this. I've got self-belief in myself because I can see it doing well. And it's mine and it's no one else's that gets it away from me. Yeah.
And as you say, it is yours and it's nobody else's, and you can control it. And as you say, it's your baby, and you can see you're passionate about it when you talk about it. But tell us a little bit about it. You've got any like celebrity gossip, because you talk to so many celebs.
Well, this is the interesting thing, and this is why I love doing it, is because I am a showbiz journalist by trade, but I'm not a clickbait showbiz journalist. And so I don't want to just get a clickbait newsline out there for the sake of gossip, because I want that celebrity to trust me. And it's people I've interviewed many, many times and I've built a really good rapport with. I'm not going to throw them under the bus.
No.
So what I do is always I go, right, here's the podcast. I want you to treat it like a postcard. So if someone wants to know about your life, they listen to this, it will tell you exactly what they need to know about you. And so I give them full editorial control. I send them the podcast. Anything they want taken out, we'll take out. Anything that I think could be a newsline, because at the end of the day, it's important as well that I push myself out and my brand and my podcast numbers. I'll say to them, look, I'm going to push this out to the press. Is this okay? And 99.9% of the time they'll say yes, because why am I going to throw them under the bus for a cheap newsline? You know, it's
they'll never come back again, and you get a bad name around the business.
Exactly. And also, how often do you get a chance just to speak about yourself and actually just go, look, I want to tell you all this. I want the platform to do it. You can't do it on Instagram or TikTok 15 seconds. So let me give you a 30 or 45-minute podcast and you can hear it for yourself.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. You know, the podcasting thing, a lot of people have said to me I should do a podcast, but I wouldn't know where to start. You know, is it because you're in journalism, as is Anna, that you knew how to do it better than I would do?
I think the thing is, in the pandemic especially, everyone's done a podcast or a memoir if you're a celebrity. And I would love to hear your podcast, Rusty. Trust me, I've been watching on TV for decades. I'd love to.
Hang on. Back. Cut the decades.
I haven't seen any of your career. I know nothing about you. So, it's that everyone can do it. And also, with all Zoom now, the fact that you can actually hit record on Zoom, and that is your audio that you can then just put on a platform. It's all about media. Same as TikTok. Everyone can make a video now. Everyone knows how to do green screen. And all the time you're like, I went to uni for this. I went on a course this. And now you can just teach yourself overnight using YouTube. So yeah, it's really interesting how people are just doing it themselves now. But like everyone's got a podcast, but it's how long does that podcast last for? What is the longevity and what is the reason for it? Is it that you managed to get it sponsored as a celebrity, so you're going to put out 8 episodes? Is it because you actually care about people's stories? And is it that you just have fun doing it? Because at the end of the day, we need something, like I said, that's ours, that we can own, and that gives us something to look forward to in the diary each week.
Yeah.
So how do you monetize that? Because you said that you didn't have a mortgage, you didn't have this and that. And so you sort of, like everybody is in the world right now with the pandemic and all the jobs shut down. How do you monetize a podcast? How do you do that?
You know what? I don't. I'll be completely honest with you. I don't. I pay for the podcast platform, so I pay a fee each year to host it on a website. If you get a certain amount of listeners, then you can start making money for it. I'm never going to do that. I know my place. I know that I haven't got enough followers and listeners. I don't have any status myself. But what I do have is the stories and that safe space. And so, again, is money important? Is it important you can monetize? Or is it, right, I've got 3 hours a week where I can do an hour of recording, an hour of research, an hour of editing, and it's something I look forward to, and then I put that out and I can be proud of my work. I'm proud of something that I've done, rather than chasing money, because all that happens is you start getting that £1, you want £2, you get £2, you want £5, you get £5, you want £10. There's never enough. So it's actually better not to start with anything, and then you're never disappointed.
And it's lovely, as you say, there's no, people trust you, and it's a safe place to come. And I think it's lovely, as you say, it's not about the money, it's about the love and the passion, and that's lovely. And you can see that when you're talking.
I'm saying it, and it's been hard. Like this year, I used to do it in person, and now I do it all through Zoom on the phone. And you do lose that sense of realness. And especially in the earlier podcasts, I'd make people cry every single episode. And
Why? How did you?
Because people are opening up to things that they've never spoken about before, because they've never had the opportunity. It's like a therapy session for free. And also with an untrained therapist, so I'm not telling them what they should hear.
I was going to ask you that. I was going to ask you whether you're finding that people are more willing to talk about things that are very personal to them now, because it's a more accepting atmosphere in general, and it helps other people to know that even very famous people go through very difficult and tense times of self-doubt and imposter syndrome and all the other things that plague people who are successful and well-known, and just normal people who are successful possibly, but not well-known.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing, because people are opening up that conversation. If you think, even I was at school 10 years ago, I left school 10 years ago this year, and we had nothing about mental health. And I had this conversation last week with someone who said, yeah, but we didn't need it at that time. It was pre-social media. So yes, we knew there were people who had some mental health illnesses, maybe a bit of anxiety, a bit of depression. It was never a thing, whereas now everyone wants to jump on the bandwagon and say they've got it. And also a lot of people now have it. And as you said, there's so much imposter syndrome now, because we can actively see what everyone's following is. We look at Instagram, we look at Twitter, we see that number of how many thousands of followers, and immediately you think you're at a disadvantage to the next. And because the media and the landscape we're in now is all taking people based on their following, you're like, right, well, I need 1 million followers, because if I've got 1 million followers, then I'm going to get this job and I'm going to make this much money. And so we've come in such a weird mindset.
So can we ask you, Johnny, what is your biggest insecurity, or can't you tell us?
My biggest insecurity, it'd be imposter syndrome, it could be paranoia, it could be just so much, everything, really, everything.
And you find that people in general have the same fears that you have?
The most amazing thing, everyone's got the exact same fears. And I think in the past couple of years, with amazing people like Jay Shetty and Matt Haig, we're all doing so much self-development now.
Yeah.
Weird, because you wouldn't have done self-development beforehand. We always knew about the retreats and stuff, but we'd never really thought about, pick up Matt Haig's book, pick up Jay Shetty's book, and go and learn about yourself. And now we're all doing it, and now we're all manifestating and meditating, and we've all got our little quirks. I literally, for the past 3 days, have been doing this new thing, which is called 369. So you write what you want 3 times in breakfast, 3 times at lunch, and 6 times at lunch, 9 times at dinner. So I put, I wish I had a girlfriend. I hope to be happy. I hope I have a long, well-paid career. And I write that out 3 times at breakfast, 3 times at lunch, 6 times at lunch, 9 times at dinner. And I'm like really focused on that at the moment. I think we're all finding our little quirks now to get by and have something to believe in.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. I like that. I'm going to try it.
meditation is a great way, isn't it, for like your mental health, to like rewind, relax, and like take control of your life back. I think, as you say, I think with the pandemic, although it's been awful, but in some aspects it's nice, because, you know, like, you're not taking an hour to travel into London every day, like, and so I'm using that time, the spare time I have, to like do meditation, or, you know, like read books and things like that. So I think it's made a lot of us adjust our lives, hasn't it?
I find the pandemic's been amazing for all that, and the self-development and the belief and the work on yourself. The fact, you know, I used to go on date nights myself and go to a restaurant alone. Yeah. And obviously then restaurants closed and everything. But to have that time now to focus on yourself, I do 3 hours walking a day, and it's just reframed everything. And I just feel so much more healthier for it. And I've got rid of a lot of the toxicality around me, toxic friends, people who would maybe bring me down, people I'd feel insecure if we've got a good friendship or not. And so I've moved all that away, and now I've just got concrete food, concrete friends, concrete things to watch on TV, and I'm just very happy in myself and alone as well, which is also the most important thing. I need someone to fulfill me, not to make me happy.
Yes, yeah. And as you say, I think that's one of the most important things, is having the right people around you. If you've got negative people, they drain your energy, they take your light, don't they? So
I think this is the whole thing since 2006, when The Greatest Secret came out and the law of attraction. That is it now. It's visualized. I've got can I show you this? Hold on.
Yeah.
That is a mess. That
Oh, look. Yes.
is.
I don't know.
Oh, wow.
So I've got all the celebs I've interviewed, I've had press lines from people that I love, things that I want to go well for me, and I've got it here that I look at every single day. So that I've got
Fabulous.
And my favourite radio presenters, people like, So and then Basil Brush, because
I love
him.
Johnny, who was your favourite interview ever? Who did you really feel was your easiest, happiest, most bonding interview?
Good question. I think two people. One is Paul C. Bronson from Celebs Go Dating. I love it. The most amazing deep chat, and also the presenter Cherry Healy, because we spoke all about manifestations. So just people who are on the same wavelength, who open up, and I want to be able to learn. I want to be able to learn about myself. So you're telling me your experience. I want to be able to take it away and go, right, this is now what I think of it with me. And also then celebs who share it on their social media pages, because, you know, a lot of the time you've got people who brought out a book, and so they're doing the media rounds, they're doing hundreds of interviews, and then you're like, well, why have you not shared it? Why are you not proud of it? And then I go, well, if they're not proud of it, have I done something wrong? So, and again, it's an imposter syndrome. So if someone shares it, I go, okay, they like my podcast. Or sometimes people will go, they'll take screenshots of like little things that they've said, and like, this is amazing, because they're sharing it, and people put it in their bios. So
we all have that, don't we? You know, like, as you say, if they don't, it's even like your friend, you put a post in and they don't like it, and it's like, oh, you know, did you like that post? And we are like, it is the world we live in. You're like, you want to be liked and you want to feel loved, or you want people to like what you're doing. And
this is all likes, because Instagram made it such a big thing that we have likes. You know, Facebook, I remember back then, I had it to about 2008, and it was basically, you've got 2,000 friends on there, 3,000 friends, and you never saw those numbers. You didn't really care. Whereas now everything is about your following and the likes you get. And you could have a massive following and then literally no likes. And I think it's something like your following, you get 0.5% of your following turns into likes. And so, you know, I have about 2,500 followers on Instagram. I usually get on a good post about 40 likes. And you're like, well, hold on a minute, why is the other 2,000 not liked? And I've written 30 hashtags, and I've done the long speech about it, and I've done everything, and I've put it at the right time, and I'm still only getting 40 likes. And you can't really consumed by these numbers. And so
that's true.
And you can be so much more free and so much more happier.
I think everyone's focused on their numbers or lack of numbers, and then you start worrying, and you know, so you've actually giving your power away, aren't you, if you're worrying about your likes or lack of likes, because you're asking other people to validate you, and you should be feel validated in yourself. And I think that's
by yourself
huge,
anyway.
And that is a huge problem now.
The biggest problem, because we've now created this new industry where you've got all social media managers now. So people who have gone on a 1-week course to find out how to use social media, they are then experts in it. And then you're paying hundreds and hundreds and thousands of pounds for someone to do your social media for you. And then you go, oh, well, I don't need that now. Or, oh, I'm now going to make my account private. And so you spend all this money on your social media, and then it's not even been worth it. And That's the thing. We've now got this whole business that's been created, and you know, there wouldn't be a business if there wasn't a demand for it.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, but also you also can't get jobs now, or you can't get publishing deals, or you can't get gigs and all that unless you've got loads of followers, and they think, oh well, all the fans are going to follow you in your new venture, and that's what industry wants as well.
Yes.
And this is the weird thing, because you've got the idea of household names, and then you've got followers. So you'll have someone, I'll be approached, I'm going, please book them, they've got 2 million followers or 10 million followers, and you're like, well, I've never heard of them. Or it could be someone like, you know, stereotypically from a reality TV show that obviously builds up a massive following. They could be a really good looking person. But in the world media, they haven't got that following. And yet you're saying, well, yes, they've got 5 million followers, but do people actually know who they are?
Johnny, so if anyone wanted to listen to like your podcast, which we actually love to, I'd love to get engaged. What is the link? And then we can put it on here as well, so everyone can listen to your podcast.
Secure the Insecure on iTunes, Spotify, Acast, everywhere you get your thing from, because I host it on Acast and it goes to about 10 different platforms. It has a big following in South America, I don't know why, and Australia.
Oh, great.
It's coming up to episode 100.
I can't wait to listen to your podcast.
Johnny, well done, 100. That is work, and that's a lot of research. Thank you so much, Johnny. I really appreciate your time. We've loved having you, and it's always nice to have a lovely bit of eye candy for us, Gladys.
Thank you very much.
Take care, lovely.
Take care.
Bye, Johnny. Thank you.
Bye. Bye. Johnny was lovely, and he's really on a journey, isn't he? Our next guest is my very lovely friend Sally Windsor. Sally runs a talent agency, does PR. She's a tabloid journalist. And what you don't do, Sal, you literally cover everything. But Sally, tell us a little bit who you are and what you do.
Hi. Hello, ladies. How are you?
Oh, very well. Thank you. Lovely to meet you.
Good.
Nice to meet you, Sally.
Thank you for having me. So, well, basically, I started off my career in Bristol. It was a bit of a funny story. I knew I wanted to work for magazines, and I'd done my degree in English. I knew I wanted to write for magazines. And I ended up going on to Take a Break magazine just to do a bit of work experience.
Oh, I like Take a Break.
Yeah, Take a Break is amazing. Amazing. So I ended up going on to Take a Break magazine just to do a bit of work experience. And the editor there, who was there for a very, very long time, still a good friend of mine, he said, I think you're good, but sadly you can't really write. So what you need to do is go to this agency in Bristol for 2 years and they'll turn you into a writer. And I was like, okay, I'll do that. Okay. So this is an agency called Southwest News based in Bristol, and they are cream of the crop when it comes to training journalists. And rather than go down the route of doing a journalism course, I truly believe it's the way to go to a newsroom, actually learn on your feet, make the tea for as long as it takes, and just really, really learn on your feet. So that's the way that I did it. So I was there for 2 years, and then I went straight on to Women's Weekly magazine. So That's Life, Take a Break, all of those ones, writing real life stories for women, or writing as I in the first person. So it was weight loss stories, miracle babies, love raps. Do love a love rat.
Oh yes.
A holiday love rat, even better if it happened in Cyprus. It's even more juicy, I tell you. It's fantastic. Another great laugh was pet stories, because you had to write in the style of the pet. So I had to pretend to be the dog as I was woofing at my owner. So it was a complete laugh from start to finish. Yeah. And I absolutely loved it. And from there, I did some other magazines. I did sort of Closer and Woman's Own and that kind of thing. And then I went on to Life magazines. Yeah, and then I went on to some of the newspapers, and I worked for the Mail, I worked for the Sun, I worked for the News of the World when it was there. The News of the World was quite an experience. As you can imagine, back in the day, it was very much the typical newsroom, lots of shouting, lots of screaming for deadlines and that kind of thing, screaming at you if you hadn't got a story. It was really, really hard work, but brilliant. I can't knock it. It was fantastic.
High energy, yes.
High energy indeed. I mean, Anna, you know this. you know.
Yes,
from
yeah,
your
yeah. I
own
know the
experience.
newsroom sort of runs on adrenaline. All newsrooms do.
Most definitely,
Yeah.
most definitely. So it was absolutely fantastic. And from there, I had my children. My oldest is 13, and my little one's 5. And it's half term, so you probably heard some noises in the background already. So bear with me, is all I can say. Bear with me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had my children, both my children. I just decided, you know, to sort of go it alone and do some different things. And then just as like about 5 years ago, actually, when I had my youngest, I sort of fell into doing celebrity management. So I went to an agency called Can, who look after Peter Andre and Gemma Collins. Well, used to look after Gemma Collins and Amy Childs and that kind of thing. So I went there and I really learned the sort of management, PR side of things, you know. And I was there for a couple of years, and really just decided to sort of go it on my own, you know, especially down the PR route. And what I ended up doing as a main focus was looking after celebrities and doing their PR. So this is kind of either lesser known celebrities or really well-known celebrities, all different levels of where they are in whatever walks of life they're at. It's interesting. You get to meet a lot of people from a lot of different walks of life. And of course, I've sort of had that experience with the real life journalism, because you just meet some inspiring women that have been through so much with miracle babies and what they've been through with their children who've had cancer, and how they've got through that, and how they've campaigned for different things. You just literally meet the most inspiring women and men. And it really, you know, actually working with different people in the PR sector has been fascinating, because I've had to look at it from what I do is usually, if I have a new PR client, I will interview them for 20 minutes or so, find out about them and go, okay, well, my big headline here is this. Yeah. And then I go, okay, and that's what we do. We work with those headlines and we get them in the press. PR sort of become very much part of my life, working for brands. Obviously, we've been doing the website, which is going to be absolutely phenomenal. The amount of work that's gone into it on the back side of it for when it does come live has just been absolutely incredible. We've got some brilliant celebrity clients. We've built our own management team, so we're actually celebrity managers also. So we've got our own management team. We've got our own PR team. Yeah, so it's been a lot of work, but it's been brilliant. You know, when you've got it makes such a difference, as I'm sure you both know. When you've got a good team, you want to work hard. It's not. It doesn't make it difficult when you've got good people to work for. You know, you're inspired and you want to sit down and you want to write that copy. You know, it is really, really inspiring. So the PR side of things just happens.
If like there was a celebrity out there who wanted to like get out there, what, like, you know, or they just want to be famous, what would they do, or how could you do that, you know?
Get a talent first, that I would suggest.
Yes, honestly.
Get a talent. That's the first part of it. Make sure you've got a talent.
I've got it spot on.
Yeah, because you know, I've heard lots of people go, young kids go, I want to be famous. Okay, what for?
Yeah.
You know, what do you want to be? I don't know.
Yeah, so, it's completely true. It's completely true. And the different, like when you do get someone, like I've worked with a magician, I work closely with a magician who's won Britain's Got Talent. His name's Richard Jones. He was the military guy. I don't know if you remember him. The winner, and he did all the magic. Like, when you are working with someone that has got a talent, it's so much easier. It's so much easier. But there are the Love Island girls and the Ex on the Beach and all the rest of it. Get rid of that phone call. Sorry, I don't think we want that. There are these girls that just want their profile raised, and with them, what I would do in answer to the question is really go into their backgrounds, and hopefully they are open enough there's somebody, a girl from Geordie Shore, who's a great girl. I think I can speak to her about this, and on this. Her name's Abby Holborn, and she's famous for being on Geordie Shore. That's it. She hasn't got a talent, but she's a wonderful girl. She's very switched on, and she talked to me about losing her hair and alopecia and how that affected her in the public eye. With all these other girls. So what I tend to do, if I really feel like somebody hasn't got a typical talent or something like that, I have to reach into their past or reach into their medical history or reach into, tap into something else. And some people, as in life, when you meet them, are a totally closed book, and others aren't. You know, it's really like the luck of the draw. And I just, you know, when I get somebody who's willing to be open with me, it's just such a dream. It really is. So the more somebody can be open and give me all of themselves, the more I can do for them. But if you get a closed book, you just got to do your best, really.
Dry bone again.
You have to be able to sell yourself. And if it is about selling yourself, isn't it? So as you say, even if you haven't got a particular talent, if you've got something that you can use to inspire others, for example, losing your hair, which is a very difficult thing, at least you can use your fame to say, I'm going through this, and other people who are going through it will feel a bit of comfort because they're not the only ones, and there's some sort of guidance as to how to cope with it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and you can applaud people for when they do open up. And it's that old thing, Anna, if you can help one person, and I do really believe in that. If you can help one person who reads your feature, your news piece, whatever, then it was worth doing. It was definitely worth doing.
I think it's nice, you know, like someone has got a story, but it's inspirational and it helps others, and I love that. And I think that's so nice. There's so many people out there who I know as well, you know, like who don't tell their story, but I think if you just tell your story, like and the journalists can do it in such a nice way, as you say, it doesn't have to be all horrible and nasty, and then you can see how inspiration, it just like helps so many other people. It really does. Sally, thank you so much for joining us.
No worries at all. I loved it. It was great to meet you.
And you. And I'm going to look up your article. Read it now.
Yeah, look at the article. They're great. It's brilliant. No, well done. I'll talk to you soon, and thank you for joining us.
Bye, ladies.
Lovely to meet you, Sally. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, lovely. Bye.